It simply feels like home. So when you tell her, your presence lights up the room. You're awakening her to something sacred. The understanding of her being, her warmth, her energy matters. And sometimes that realization alone is enough to change how someone walks through the world. There's a reason these compliments work so deeply. They're not about what's seen, but what's felt. They touch the layers that most people overlook: confidence, intellect, kindness, and presence. Each one reflects a truth that's becoming rare in our fast-filtered world. People don't just want to be admired, they want to be understood. And when you master that kind of awareness, when you start noticing the invisible things, you'll see connections transform right before your eyes. Because in the end, attraction isn't built on looks or status. It's built on perception, on the ability to see what others don't. If this message resonated with you, take a second to reflect. Ask yourself, when was the last time I made someone feel truly seen? Drop the word appreciation in the comments if you made it to the end, because that one word sums up the energy that makes people unforgettable. And if you're new here, welcome to Dark Psychology, where we explore the hidden forces behind human behavior, attraction, and emotional power. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, because somewhere out there, someone needs to be reminded that their presence still lights up the room. Until next time, I'm Amelia, and this is Dark Psychology. Acknowledging her emotional strength. Because kindness, real kindness, isn't weakness. It's restraint. It's courage. It's empathy turned into motion. Think about it. It takes almost nothing to be nice to people who benefit you, but it takes true character to show warmth to those who can't offer you anything back. Kindness is the quiet form of strength that speaks volumes in how she listens, how she helps, how she cares without making a scene about it. You'll see it in small, fleeting moments when she checks in on a friend going through something, when she defends someone being left out, when she gives her time to someone who feels invisible. And she does it not because she wants recognition, but because her empathy won't let her do otherwise. So when you tell her, I appreciate how kind you are to everyone, you're validating that quiet force she carries. You're telling her that in a world full of noise, you notice the softness that takes real strength to sustain. Most people say, you're so nice, but niceness can be a mask. Kindness is deliberate. It's the choice to respond with compassion even when it's inconvenient. That's why your words should go beyond the surface. Say something like, I really admire how you still make time to check on people even when your own schedule's insane. Or, I notice the way you treat everyone with respect even when they don't give it back. That's the kind of compliment that hits deep, because now you're not just praising her behavior, you're honoring her values. And here's what most don't realize. Kindness isn't passive. It's leadership in disguise. Harvard Business Review. Because kindness builds safety. It allows people to drop their guard. And when a woman brings that into her relationships, she doesn't just make people feel good. She makes them feel seen. That's her power. And when you acknowledge that, when you look her in the eye and say, I see the good you put into the world, it does something profound. Because deep down, everyone, even the strongest, wonders if their goodness still matters. Your words remind her that it does. Kindness isn't weakness. It's elegant. It's discipline. It's the invisible armor of those who've been hurt, but still choose to heal others. So the next time you see it, acknowledge it. Because in a culture that celebrates dominance, choosing to celebrate kindness is an act of rebellion. Confidence draws attention. Intellect builds connection. Kindness creates trust. But there's one final compliment, a bonus that transcends all three. It's subtle, almost poetic, and it recognizes something deeper than words: energy. It's the compliment that, when said with truth, makes a woman pause, smile, and remember you. Let's talk about that one. Bonus point. Your presence lights up the room. There's a kind of magic that can't be seen, only felt. It's the shift in the air when someone walks in, the calm in their tone, the warmth in their smile, the energy that changes the mood without a single word. That is presence. When you tell a woman your presence lights up the room, you're acknowledging something far deeper than appearance or charm. You're recognizing her aura, the energy she radiates that makes people feel at ease, inspired, or alive. And here's what makes this compliment so powerful. It's not about what she's doing. It's about who she is. It's not about her outfit or her laugh or her success. It's about the way she exists. You've probably met someone like that before. Someone who doesn't need to fight for attention, who doesn't speak the loudest or take up the most space. Yet somehow, when they enter, everything feels lighter, more real, more human. That's what it means when her presence lights up a room. It's not the light that blinds, it's the one that softens. She doesn't command attention. Ella loves, and if you pay attention, you'll see why. It's the small things, the way she listens without interrupting, the way she laughs without judgment, the way her authenticity gives others permission to be themselves. When you give this compliment, you're not just admiring, you're validating something rare. You're saying the world feels better when you're in it, and that's something people remember. Most of us move through life unnoticed, trying to prove our worth through noise, speed, or perfection. But those who have true presence, they do the opposite. They slow things down. They bring peace where there's chaos. They connect where others compete. And when you recognize that in someone, you're not only giving a compliment, you're offering a mirror, a reflection of how her energy impacts others. But here's the twist. Most people don't realize they have this gift. They underestimate it because it's quiet. It doesn't shout, "Look at me." Complimenting her intelligence. You're honoring her essence. But let's be honest, most compliments about intelligence are lazy. You're smart. You know so much. They sound polite, but they don't stick. They don't carry emotion. They don't show presence. Talk about the way she thinks, the way her logic and emotion intertwine, the way she notices details others miss. Try this instead. I love how your mind works. You take something complicated and make it sound simple, but never shallow. Or the way you analyze things, it's like you see patterns most people never notice. Now, that hits differently, doesn't it? Because you're not just describing her intellect. You're describing the experience of being in her presence, and that's what makes her feel seen. A talakosa. Intelligence comes in many forms. It's not just about books, grades, or achievements. There's emotional intelligence, the ability to read people, to understand tone, to sense what's unsaid. There's creative intelligence, the ability to see possibilities where others see problems. And there's intuitive intelligence, that mysterious, almost psychic ability to feel what's right before it's logical. When you recognize these layers in someone, you're not just making her feel valued. You're telling her that you get her. You understand that her strength doesn't only come from looks or charm, but from the depth of her thought. Research from the Journal of Applied Psychology backs this up. People who are acknowledged for their unique way of thinking feel more engaged, more respected, and more connected. In relationships, it builds emotional safety. In attraction, it builds intrigue. Because when you appreciate her mind, you're speaking directly to the part of her that rarely gets touched, the part that craves to be understood, not just admired. And here's the subtle twist most men miss. When you notice her intelligence, you create space for her to open up intellectually and emotionally. Philosophia. Now, it's not small talk, it's connection. So remember, when you say you have an incredible mind, say it with awareness. Say it when you've truly noticed how she processes the world, because that simple sentence, when genuine, can turn a moment into a memory. It's not just a compliment, it's an invitation to depth, and that's where real attraction begins. Aura, confidence draws you in, the mind keeps you there. But there's one more quality that makes someone unforgettable. It's the quiet force that softens hearts, builds trust, and creates a kind of warmth you can't fake. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but once you notice it, you'll never see her the same way again. Let's talk about it. Point 3. I appreciate how kind you are to everyone. Kindness. It's such a simple word, yet it carries the kind of power that could change the entire tone of a room. In a world that often glorifies confidence, control, and ambition, kindness can feel like a lost art. But make no mistake, it's one of the most magnetic human traits you'll ever encounter. When you say to a woman, "I appreciate how kind you are to everyone," you're not just noticing her manners, But here's a little known truth. You're talking to a woman. Maybe it's someone you admire, someone you're close to, or someone you're just getting to know. You want to make her feel seen, but instead, what slips out is something she's heard 1,000 times before. You look beautiful, nice, sure, memorable? Not at all. Let's face it, compliments are way too easy to get wrong. We often assume that being polite or saying something nice is enough to make an impact. But here's the reality. Most compliments float on the surface. They're predictable, repetitive, and forgettable. Today, we're going deeper because there are 3 compliments that women secretly crave, the kind that cut through the noise, reach straight to her core, and make her remember you long after the conversation ends. These aren't the typical "you're pretty" lines. They carry emotional intelligence, awareness, and authenticity, the kind of energy that only a man with presence and self-control can project. So stay with me because these 3 compliments might completely change the way you connect with the women in your life. Punto. I love how confident you are. Confident answer. It's magnetic, isn't it? It's that invisible force that draws people in without a word being spoken, the kind of quiet power that shifts the energy in a room the moment someone walks in. But here's the secret. True confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need to be announced. It's in the calmness of her posture, the steadiness of her eyes, the subtle ease in her movements. When you say to a woman, "I love how confident you are," you're not just complimenting her outer behavior. You're acknowledging the inner foundation that built it. You're recognizing the deep-rooted strength that allows her to stand tall even when life throws her into chaos. Confident, walking through uncertainty with grace. It's the ability to keep your composure when everything else is shaking, to trust yourself when others doubt you. And that's what makes this compliment so powerful, because it speaks to the soul, not the ego. But here's where most people get it wrong. They mistake confidence for arrogance. They see boldness and assume it's ego. But they couldn't be more mistaken. Arrogance screams, "Confa susura." Arrogance demands attention. Confidence earns it. Arrogance comes from insecurity, always seeking validation. Confidence is born from self-rust. It doesn't need approval to feel worthy. So when you give this compliment, it has to come from a place of authentic observation. It has to be real, because women can sense fake flattery faster than you can finish the sentence. Instead of saying "you're confident," make it specific. Show her that you noticed the details. You didn't flinch. You stayed calm and in control. That's not just a compliment. That's recognition. And recognition is far more powerful than praise, because what you're really saying is, "I see the strength behind your silence. I notice the calm beneath your chaos. I respect how you move through the world with quiet power." And that's a kind of validation that sticks, because it's earned. In fact, studies from Harvard Business Review show that people with high perceived confidence are not only more trusted, but also viewed as more capable and likable. Confidence, when genuine, doesn't just shape success, it creates connection. So the next time you notice her confidence, name it, acknowledge it, because when you do, you're not just flattering her, you're feeding the very energy that makes her magnetic in the first place. And here's something most men miss. When you compliment a woman on her confidence, it reflects your own, because only someone secure enough in themselves can recognize strength in someone else. That's the quiet power dynamic of dark psychology, when your words reveal not just how you see her, but who you are. Before we move on, think about this. Would you rather be the person who compliments what's obvious or the one who sees what's rare? Because the next compliment on this list reveals there's a certain kind of beauty that doesn't fade with time, the kind that lives behind someone's eyes. Because while the world is obsessed with appearances, true attraction begins in the mind. When you tell a woman you have an incredible mind, you're saying something that most people overlook completely. You're acknowledging the part of her that the world rarely celebrates, suspensiva in a society that rewards filters, looks, and quick validation. It's rare for anyone to pause and say, "I see the way you think," and that's extraordinary. See, the mind is where her true allure hides. It's in how she connects ideas, solves problems, or finds beauty in chaos. It's the way she can explain something so complex and make it sound effortless. And when you notice that, you stand apart from everyone else because you're not just